Hey everyone, it's Alli. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining. Today's class is really slow and gentle. We'll use some prompts to support our practice, and I'll give some cues if you want to take things a little bit deeper. But the whole purpose of this class today is to just be really present and really still, to breathe deeply, and in doing so, encourage your body and your mind to start to really relax. So it'll feel really restorative when we're done, and we'll focus on maybe not pushing ourselves so much, maybe on not trying to force the body into any shape, not forcing ourselves to push past our comfort zone in terms of breathing. So we'll just be very supported and at rest the entire time. We'll use a block if you have one. If you don't have a yoga block, you can use a book that's about the same size, or you could also roll up a towel and put some tape around it to hold it in place, so just to use as a little bolster. You'll also need a strap, something that's at least arm's length, and something that's easy to grab in both hands. So you can also use a belt, or in this case I'm using a spare dog leash. It works quite well. Besides that, you'll just need a blanket or a pillow, something just to help cushion. If you need to grab those things, go ahead and pause the video, and when you're ready, we're going to start on our backs. You'll have your block just nearby, somewhere easy to grab for this. And you'll start by just placing your feet flat on your mat and then lowering yourself all the way down to your spine. From here, walk your heels closer towards your hips so that your feet are nice and flat. If you need to, you can pick up your hips, scoop your tailbone under, and then lower down. So this will help us to flatten the low back so we can rest comfortably here. You'll place your hands right on your low belly. Bring your eyes closed. We start our class today by just feeling the gentle rise and fall of your belly. Slowly starting to integrate some breath control here by taking a deep, deep inhale, letting the belly expand. And then slowly exhaling through your nose. Big inhale. And slow exhale. Big inhale through the nose. Slow exhale. Doing a few more rounds of this on your own. And as you're doing that, seeing if we can soften the shoulders into the mat a little bit more. Relaxing our legs, our face, our hands. As you're resting here, just guiding the breath in and out through the nose. Notice how our minds start to slow down. We can focus on a simple task such as breathing. You're tethering the mind to something simple yet soothing. And this allows us to step away from the busy patterns of thoughts. And if throughout this practice we start to feel a bit restless or the thoughts start to become loud once more, you can just remind yourself to come back to that focused, slow breath. You can gently open your eyes here and start to locate your block. Once you have it, you're going to press gently into your feet to lift your hips off your mat, and then slide your prop underneath the flat bony part of your low back. This is your sacrum. As you lower down, you'll feel your weight shift onto your block. Your hands can still come to rest in that space below your navel. And once again, we find a place where we can rest easy. Coming right back to our controlled breathing. Just noticing how it feels to be in this supportive back bend shape. Getting some release through the low back and the hips. As we stay on our block here for just a bit longer, let's let our minds come to a place that we enjoy. So this could be your favorite place. This could be somewhere you want to take a vacation to someday. Start to picture somewhere and start to visualize the details. Where are you? What do you see? Who's with you, or are you alone? What sounds do you hear? What is the temperature like? Is it windy, or do you feel the sun on your skin? If you're indoors, where are you sitting, or are you lying down? As you start to visualize yourself settling into this place, we'll remind ourselves that we are safe, that this is a place where we can let our guard down, where we can fully rest. We'll stay here for the remainder of the practice, keep guiding ourselves back to this place that we've visualized for ourselves. And we'll slowly start to shift off of our block here. Press your heels into your mat, lift your hips. Slide your prop out of the way and then slowly roll your spine back down. From here, take your arms out to a T. You can move your props if you need to. We'll start to find some gentle twisting through the spine. So letting knees fall over to one side and then up and over towards the other. Just nice and slow, keeping both shoulders grounded on your mat. We can start to integrate our breath here as well. So as your knees come up to the center, take an inhale, and as they come over to one side, exhale. Knees back up on an inhale, knees over to the other side as you exhale. You can keep that pattern going a few more times here. Finish, bring your knees back up. We'll bring our feet back in line with the hips, heels closer towards the hips. This time you'll place your palms down, arms alongside the body, and we'll enter into an easy bridge pose. So by engaging your legs, press into your heels, inhale to lift your hips. We're only coming up maybe about halfway of your range. And in doing this, it's an easy back bend, but you're able to find some engagement in your glutes, and you're able to feel some weight shift onto the backs of your shoulders. A gentle hugging in of the low belly. Making sure to keep our knees in line with our hips and not splaying out. Let's just stay here for 2 more slow breaths. last exhale, lowering down to your spine. Pause for one breath here with your spine flat. Slowly gather your knees in towards your chest. You'll wrap your arms around your shins, take a squeeze in, keeping your sacrum and your shoulders on your mat. Just find an easy rock side to side. If it's easier for you, you could also grab onto the backs of your thighs. You could also add in some hip circles here, so going a few times in each direction. You might notice some areas that feel a little tender, and you can linger in those spots just to help work out any knots. When you're ready, go ahead and lower both feet back down onto the mat, and then grab your strap or your strap leg object. You will take one end in each hand and then loop your left foot. So I like to keep my right leg bent with my foot flat just for some extra support. But if you want a little bit more of a stretch here, you could anchor your right heel down onto your mat. Let's grab both ends in one hand now. You might need to bend your knee for this as we start to work into the hamstrings and the calves. You'll know where your range is when you start to straighten out your leg. We really want the leg pretty close in towards the body, so even if we're bent, that's okay. Before we do anything else here, just see about spreading your toes a little bit. Relax your shoulders. We don't want to tug on our strap. We're just holding it there for support. Once your toes are spread, you might even see about flexing your foot to point your toes down towards your face. Find your deep breaths here. Come back to your visualization, that beautiful place that you've settled into. Release a little bit of pressure on your strap and start to find some ankle rolls here. Just going as slow as you can so you can notice each area of the leg, ankle, and foot. Switch directions if you haven't already. And then coming back to that position where we flex the foot and spread the toes. Start to gently draw the leg in a little closer. We should be able to still breathe deeply, still be able to relax the shoulders, and we're not feeling too much sensation in the back of the leg, just a nice stretch. Last thing here, a few hip circles, just small movements, maybe about the size of a basketball, just going around and then switching directions. Gentle pressure on your strap. You can start to bend the knee, release your strap back down towards your mat, and then bend your right leg, cross your left foot over your right thigh for supine pigeon. There's a lot of options here. It's just depending how far you would like to go. You can stay here with your hips and feet on the mat and then just start to gently press your left knee away. If we want a little more, we can lift the right leg. And for even more, you can take your hands around the back of your right thigh and gently start to hug your left shin in towards your chest. Notice how I'm keeping my spine, my shoulders, my head all on the mat. And I'm just pulling into stretching the outside of my left hip. There's optional ankle rolls here if you want, but I encourage you to just lie here. Find a place in this position where you can be as still as possible and with as minimum effort as possible. So rather than really tugging in, pulling, just using the hands and the muscles in the legs as a stable guide to position the hip. relaxing your face. Just taking the last couple breaths here. Release this posture. Drop your right foot down if we've lifted, and then slowly uncross your left leg. Take your arms to a T. Take a few more rocking twists here, knees up and over, side to side. And when you're ready, grab your strap. Decide where you want your left foot placed for this as we wrap the strap around our right foot. If your knee's bent, or if you're going to anchor your left heel. Again, we'll start by taking both ends of the strap in one or both hands, spreading your toes. And it's right when we start this stretch that we notice how tight the calves are, the hamstrings, how much sensation there is when we first enter this. But as we continue to practice our deep breaths, and if we stay in the posture long enough, with enough awareness, we will start to feel these muscles soften, and we will start to feel more space opening up. Again, remembering to bend your knee a bit if it's too intense. And then loosening your grip just a bit so you can find your ankle rolls here. Again, nice and slow. And then switching directions. It's also normal if one side feels tighter or more tender than the other. And then flexing your foot again, spreading your toes, trying to point them towards your face. And if you want to start to pull your leg in a little closer, you can. Taking our hip circles from here, just tracing out a size about as big as a basketball. And then we'll switch directions. Bending your knee, release your strap. And then cross your right ankle over your left thigh for your supine pigeon. And you can stay here with your left foot on your mat, your right knee gently pressing away. Or you can lift your left leg and start to gently hug your right shin in towards you. If your left leg's lifted, we're still encouraging the right knee away. We invite those deep breaths back in here. And not forcing. We're just enjoying each sensation that we can notice. Doing our best to keep guiding ourselves back to our breath. Keeping our focus steady. And when we can do that, nothing can hold us back from enjoying our practice. We are present for each and every piece of it, each breath. Last couple breaths here. Your left foot down to your mat, uncrossing your leg. Take your arms to a T, palms up, and find your spinal twists again here. Just a couple times on each side. Bring your knees back up, your feet flat. Just rest here for a breath. Hugging your knees into your chest. Your gentle squeeze here, any movements that you like. And we'll drop our feet, stretch our legs out. You'll come roll over right onto your belly. Get yourself back onto your mat once you're there. We're going to enter into Sphinx pose. So you'll place your elbows under your shoulders. And just a gentle pressure on the forearms, the tops of the feet. And then reaching your chest forward, lifting your chin. Draw your shoulders back. Closing your eyes here. You can feel your belly press into your mat as you breathe in. Pressing into your elbows a little bit more. Take your right ear to your right shoulder. Take your left shoulder back. Taking that easy stretch through the left side of the neck. Slowly bringing left ear to left shoulder, right shoulder draws back. Head back to center. From here you can start to lower yourself down to your mat. You'll use your left arm for some support, and if you need a blanket or your block to help you, you can use that here too. So pressing your left arm down, bend your right leg, and then grab your right foot in your right hand. If you aren't able to reach, you could grab your strap or your belt, loop it around your foot, and then you can pull there too. So this is to stretch the right quad. This is as much pressure as you would like. Some of us might have a little extra range where we can turn our fingers forward and press down, but again, not forcing here. Once you find that sensation through your quad, you can close your eyes, find a comfortable position for the rest of your body to be in, and then find your slow breaths again here. You won't hold this one too long. You can release easy when you're ready. And then slowly start to switch sides. So right arm for support. Bending left leg. Grabbing onto your foot, your strap there if you need it. And then slowly bending the knee. A few deep breaths here. Releasing your leg down to your mat. Let's move our prop if you have one. Stack your forearms, forehead comes on top, and you can just let your hips swing side to side. Coming up, placing hands under your shoulders, elbows in. We're gonna press up nice and easy to a tabletop. And then right into our child's pose. For this, taking your big toes together, your knees wide, and then letting your hips come all the way down towards your heels. You'll reach your arms out in front. And your forehead's gonna touch your mat, or you can take a block or blanket. Finding our slow deep breaths here. And placing your hands on your mat, pressing up to your tabletop, and we'll move through some cat-cows. For We're just stacking your hips over your knees, your shoulders over your wrists. Inhaling to drop your belly, lift your chin. Exhale, round and tuck your spine. Inhale, roll forward, chin lift, shoulders back. Exhale, round your spine, chin to chest. Closing your eyes now, inhale, flow through to cow pose. Exhale, round into cat. Inhale, cow pose. Exhale, cat. Doing a few more on your own. Find a neutral spine. We'll come to sit on the heels. Swing your legs out in front. From here, let's take a wide seat. So you'll spread your legs open. If you have your blanket or your pillow handy, sitting on that can be really helpful to get our pelvis in the right position. I'll show you guys the difference here, sitting on nothing. And then if I sit up on my blanket, I am much more able to think about leaning forward because I've tilted my pelvis in that way. If you have your block or another support handy, you can use that for your hands. You might even bend your knees a little bit here too. First step is to sit up nice and tall. And close your eyes, drop your shoulders. And if we're feeling enough just sitting up, if there's a lot of sensation happening in the inner thighs, the adductors, or in the groin, then you can just stay up nice and high like this. If you feel like you have some extra room and you can keep your spine straight, you can find a gentle rock side to side, starting to fold forward. This is going to look different for every person. We all have such different hip mobility. And so if you're finding yourself pretty easily coming down, you might even settle onto your forearms, on your block, or on your mat. But I'm not forcing here. I'm just leaning in, listening to my body. And oftentimes we can easily tell in our postures if we're forcing or if we're tensing up just by checking in with the jaw. So if we're able to speak or move our jaw easily, that means that we are relaxed in our face. As long as our hands are relaxed too, we're not making a fist, we're not clenching our fingers. The shoulders come back and down easy. We can check in on those three areas and keep them soft and mobile. Then we're helping ourselves to ensure that we're not tensing up in our poses. Let's stay here for a few more rounds of breath. Gentle rock side to side if you enjoy that. Finishing your last breath here. If you're folded forward, plant your hands And slowly walk your way up to a seated pose. We'll grab the legs and help them to bend. Bring the legs back together. And then hug your arms around your shins, chin to chest. Curl yourself into a ball. Nice deep breath there. You can find a cross-legged position and then come back up and over to your tabletop. Tuck your toes under. Spread your fingers nice and wide. This is the only downward dog we're going to do in this practice. Take a nice big breath in. Exhale, tuck your toes, lift your knees, hips up and back. I'm going to keep my knees bent nice and deep to keep this easy on my hamstrings. You might find some pedaling out of the legs, but again, let's keep this super gentle. We're not going to hold it very long either. Just one more big breath. Look towards your hands and take some steps up to find your forward fold. This one easy as well. Bend your knees a whole bunch. Let your hands drape your mat, bending as much as you need to make that happen. Then let your neck relax. You should be able to look right between your knees. Lean as far forward into your toes as you can. And feel your spine just drooping over your legs. Space between each vertebrae starting to lengthen as gravity takes over. If you feel like your hamstrings are a bit open today, you can press and start to straighten your legs. But we don't want to lose that lengthening of the spine we worked towards. Taking your hands to your shins now. Inhale, half lift, long spine, heart forward. Exhale, slowly fold back down. Do 2 more of those. Inhale, long spine, shoulders back. Exhale, fold. You can do this all with your knees bent. Last one. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise all the way to standing. Moving with intention. Bring your fingers together. Exhale, take your hands to your heart. Samastitihi, closing your eyes. Here we'll flow through a few half sun salutations. I challenge you to keep your eyes closed during this if you're familiar with these movements, or you can watch for the first one and close your eyes for the rest. Doing this really helps you to connect with your feet on the mat, giving you a good grip, a good sense of balance. And it helps you to find nice strong legs so that the upper body can get some movement. When you're ready, feet are hip width distance. Inhale, reach up high. Lift your chin as if you were to gaze to your fingers. Exhale, hinge your hips and fold forward, coming down as slow as you can, making this movement last your entire breath. Drop your hands down, chin to chest. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Strong legs. Inhale, rise all the way up. Urdhva Hastasana, hands together. Exhale, Samastitihi, hands to heart. 2 more times. Inhale, reach up high. Exhale, bend your knees and fold. Hands down, chin to chest. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, Urdhva Hastasana, reach up high. Exhale, hands to heart. Last one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, reach up. Exhale, hands to heart. Good. Keeping the same stance, feet under hips. We'll find some side body stretches. For this one, you're gonna inhale, reach up. Can't see my hands, but make a steeple grip. So index fingers point up, palms together. Big inhale to stand up nice and tall here. Exhale, lean over to your right side. So press both feet down equally, fingers reaching towards that side. Option to turn your gaze up towards the ceiling. Inhale, straighten up nice and high. Exhale, hinge over to the left. Turn your gaze. Inhale up. Exhale, let's do one more on each side. Come over. Inhale up. Exhale over. Inhale up. Exhale, release your grip. Come down to your fold. Nice and slow. Inhale, take your half lift. Exhale, step back to a low lunge. Drop your left knee. So for this, if you have your blanket or your pillow handy, it can be really nice to have a cushion, especially if your mat is on a hard surface. So just a little bit of a cushion there. This lunge we're going to keep pretty square, so normally we could lean in quite a bit into that left hip flexor. But for this one, let's keep it nice and square. Toes tucked under. And you're just placing your hands on your thigh. Taking your head over your shoulders, shoulders over hips. Finding your next inhale, press into your thigh and lift your chest and your chin. So I'm not arching or leaning forward. I'm just using the gentle pressure of my hands to press myself back and lift. Last breath here. Slowly straighten your spine. From here, we'll find a lizard pose. So you'll take your right hand inside your right leg, walk your foot out to the edge of your mat, relax your back foot. For this one, you might straighten out your back leg a bit. We're gonna let the knee start to open up. Block here for your hands if you want some extra height. How much your hip opens is going to depend on your mobility there. So just go to where you feel an enjoyable stretch, nothing that's going to be too much. Again, if we're wanting a little bit deeper on this pose, we can see about maybe coming to the forearms. But since we are working on keeping nice slow breaths, if we do that and find that, oh, that makes it really hard, just going to come back up. I'll stay here for about another 20 seconds or so. Exit this pose, let your knee come back up, walk your foot back to the center of your mat, move your block out of the way, and then slide your right leg back to meet your left in a tabletop pose. If you want to stay on your blanket, you can. Take your right hip and we'll start to circle. So lifting the knee a few times each direction. You can go nice and slow, or you can do some quick, fast circles just to get some movement into the hip. Both knees down. We'll come to sit on the heels here. If you're on your blanket, that's fine too. Hands come to your thighs. We take a few breaths here as we relax the shoulders back and down. Taking your hands behind the back. Now let's interlace the fingers. On your inhale, lift your chest, roll your shoulders open. Doing our best not to overly arch in the low back and just letting the movement happen in the shoulders. You might decide to lift your chin a bit here. And slowly release. From here, we're going to work our way back up to a standing pose. If you need to shift yourself towards the front of your mat, you can walk up there. We'll inhale to reach up high. Exhale, your slow fold back down. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold and step your right leg back to your lunge. Drop your knee onto your blanket or your mat. Pretty square here. Hands to your left thigh, right toes tucked under for support. We're finding our good posture with head over shoulders, shoulders over hips. When you're ready, press your hands into your thigh. Inhale to lift your chest, your chin. Straightening your spine. We'll lower down nice and slow. Finding our lizard pose on the left side. Walk your left foot out to the edge of your mat. Grab a prop if you'd like. You might slide your right leg back some here as you open your hip. Find a good hand position. Decide how low you'd like to be. Again, noticing if one side's feeling a lot different than the other. We've got our 20 seconds here. This is a pose where when you hold it for this long or longer, you might find that halfway through or close to the end, you're able to come down a little bit more. So it pays off if you can hang out in this posture for a while. You can really start to notice how the body is responding. Exit this pose. You'll bring your knee back up, walk your foot back to the center, remove your props. Swing your left leg back to meet your right. Your hip circles here, lifting left leg, finding a few times in each direction. We'll come back to our low kneeling position where we sit on the heels. If that's not comfortable for you, you can sit cross-legged on your mat, or you could place a pillow between your legs or sit on a block. Here, we're just going to place the hands back on the thighs, shrug the shoulders, soften there. And then we're going to open our arms to a T. Palms forward, spread your fingers. Feel your shoulder blades retract, so like they're pinching together in the back. Take a big breath in there. On your exhale, give yourself a hug, wrapping your right arm on top of your left. Fingers come around towards the shoulder blades. Here you can give yourself a nice squeeze, chin to chest. One big breath here. Inhale to open your arms, retract your shoulders, spread your fingers, big breath in. Exhale, big hug, other side. So stack the other arm on top, fingers wrap around the shoulders, chin to chest. Big breath in. Inhale to open up. Exhale, bring your fingers down to your mat or your thighs. Working your way back to a seated position. Swinging your legs out in front. If you want to stay on your block, you can, or your blanket. Stretch your legs out in front this time. Feet together. Toes spread, that foot flexion that we want. First, you're finding your tall spine. This will be a very easy Paschimottanasana. You have your strap or your belt, so if you want to loop it around your feet for a little bit of an extra support, you can. We find an inhale to sit up tall. And an exhale to hinge forward, gently grabbing the strap, letting our hands not be clenched. Even if we're holding our strap, it's just there for that little bit of support on the legs. And maybe to help us access just a little bit deeper. We start to notice our shoulders coming towards the ears. That's when we know to soften. See if you can find a couple more breaths. Notice how I'm not rounding and slouching into this. I'm staying lifted. Taking your strap off, coming out of your fold. If you're sitting on a prop, go ahead and move it out of the way. We're going to make our way back to our backs. Your feet are flat on your mat. Reach your arms forward as you take an inhale. Lift your chest. Exhale, roll your spine all the way down to your mat. Walk your heels in closer to your hips. Hip width distance. Palms down alongside the body. We'll find our bridge pose here, coming up to your full range or close to it. Big inhale here as you press into your heels, lift your hips, weight onto your shoulders, glutes engaged, knees in line with hips. And with your eyes closed, count through 5 rounds of breath. You can lower down early if you need to. On your last exhale, roll yourself down to your spine. Pause there with your back flat on your mat for a couple deep breaths. From here, take your arms back out to a T. You can let your knees fall over to one side. Doesn't matter which side you head to first. Turn your gaze towards your opposite hand, so away from your knees. You can use a prop underneath your legs if you need some height there. Settling both shoulders down onto your mat. We'll stay here for about 30 seconds. This is a really nice posture to just let the spine release. By turning the head away from the knees, you're taking the twist all the way up into the cervical spine. The gentle pressure that we're placing on the lower abdomen is helping us with digestion, giving our intestines that gentle internal massage. Breath can start to fall back to a natural rhythm here as we work towards just being heavy on our mats. We're resting in that special place we've visualized. We're letting the mind be there rather than running off into thoughts or fears or worries or to-do lists. When you prepare to switch sides, you'll slowly bring your legs back up, letting yourself settle onto your spine. Stay there for an inhale, adjust if you need to, and then exhale your knees over to the other side. As both shoulders come down, you can turn your head away from your knees. Palms are open, fingers soft, relaxed. We're here for about 30 seconds. posture. Lift your knees up. Lie flat on your back. Stay there for a couple breaths. Eventually, you'll hug your knees back into your chest. Take a squeeze there. Any final movements that you enjoy, rocking side to side, or your small hip circles. From here, you'll come into your final resting position, Shavasana. For this, your legs stretch out. Unless you're having any lower back issues, then you can keep your knees bent and your low back flat. Once your legs are extended, if we're going there, palms are open. And I encourage walking the shoulders under just to open the chest, giving us plenty of room to breathe. We want our eyes closed here. And with this being the final posture, we remind ourselves how important it is to take time to lie still, to be awake without anything to do, to challenge ourselves to take away as much stimulation as we possibly can lying still in a quiet room, to give our minds practice at being still, at being quiet. It's so easy for us to keep going, to keep being busy, to keep distracting, or to keep moving. And it can feel amazing to move the body vigorously, to exercise, to sweat. But this balance of resting, this balance of being still and being okay with it, use this time to honor that rest, to allow our bodies and minds to have that much needed restoration. We use this as a practice not to control the mind, not to control the body, but rather to be witness and to be curious. And most importantly, to just be aware every time the mind wanders off. Every time we catch ourselves feeling caught in restlessness, anxiety, or just not able to slow down, come back to the practice you've done here, where we can use our awareness to lie still, help the mind be here as well. And to use these last few minutes of your practice as a way to deeply say thank you to your body, to your spirit, to everything that you call yours, everything you identify with. Resting in this place you've visualized, how comfortable it is here, how quiet and peaceful. You can stay here as long as you'd like. You can come back at any time. This video will end, and I encourage you to stay here a few more minutes, the body fully at ease. Before you sit up, you'll draw your knees into your chest. You'll roll to your right side. Stay there for a few breaths. Eventually, you'll come back to a seated, and you'll be ready to go about your day.